In the first LaTeX video, we talked about basic typesetting. Frequently, it's the case that we'll be entering the same syntax over and over again, so creating our own shortcut commands gives us a means to shorten that process so that we're actually typing less. So what I've done is I've created a new LaTeX file. You'll notice that these lines, document class article, and the various packages down to new command, new par, all of these commands appeared in the file from the previous video. Now I have a bunch of new commands that I've defined. You need not type all of these now, but I'm going to introduce them one by one, and perhaps you can type them on your own, pausing the video if necessary. So first, I'm going to start my document, and I'm going to list two useful LaTeX references for me that I started using many, many years ago when I began using LaTeX. Now, frequently it's the case that we want to create numbered lists or itemized lists like you would do, let's say, in a Microsoft Word document. So let's create a numbered list. So we begin with the command begin enumerate. The first item on the list, I'm going to enter the book Math into LaTeX by George Greatzer. That was the first book I learned from. And because this is a book title, I'll italicize it. Text IT, Math into LaTeX. Okay, the next book I'm going to list, the next reference, is called the LaTeX Companion. And that book was written by Frank Mittelbach. So the begin enumerate and the end enumerate are separated with various lines using the item. And so what that's going to do is it's going to create an itemized list. So we see Math into LaTeX by George Greatzer, LaTeX Companion by Frank Mittelbach over here. It's important that every begin enumerate eventually be followed by some end enumerate. Now, what if you don't want numbers, but let's say you want bullets or something like that? You can replace enumerate with begin itemize and end itemize. Now you'll notice how we have dots over here instead. And of course, you can nest things so that using a begin itemize within a list, you can nest as needed. Just be careful that every begin itemize is followed by an end itemize, or every begin enumerate is followed by an end enumerate. So here's how we can create a simple list in LaTeX. Now, I find it kind of a pain in the butt to always type begin itemize and end itemize. So I've developed a shortcut command that allows me to do that more quickly. It's given right here. New command, open brace \BE, close brace, open brace begin enumerate, and then close brace. And I did the same thing for the end enumerate, the same thing for the begin itemize, and the same thing for the end itemize. So now what I can do is, instead of typing begin itemize, I could type begin, just BI, and down here I could type EI. Let's see what happens there. Really nothing, because we're just using a shortcut command. I have BE and EE, for begin enumerate and end enumerate. And now if I recompile, I get this over here. So you can see how this saves me some time just by typing 2 letters as opposed to several more. So let's talk about some other commands that I've defined up here. We've talked about begin and end enumerate. Let's talk about we talked about begin and end itemize. Let's do some math. Now, the set of real numbers is denoted by \RN. Now that's a math, we're in math mode now. Now, I use \R to create the Blackboard font for R, which is how we get the real numbers. Let me compile now. Notice how we get RN. Actually, I wanted just the real numbers, so let me replace that by just R. Okay? Let's do another example. I'm going to separate with a new paragraph, new par. An example of a vector in R2 is given by, and I'm going to just go to the next line here simply so you can see things. I like to use boldface notation for my vectors, so if I were to write it out completely, it would be math BF V. So I just use the shortcut vec V, and I define other vectors like W, Q, all sorts of other vectors using the same notation. I use the angle bracket notation, and in LaTeX the command would be \L angle or \right angle, but I want to just save myself a little bit of typing, so I do \LA and \RA. An example of a vector in R2 is given by, let's switch to math mode, vec V equals \LA 2, 3 \RA. And now let's add a period here. Recompile. And we get exactly what we want. Oopsie. Let's go back here. It's also possible to do this with math notation. For example, I can take the Greek letter kappa and I can make it bold by using the bold symbol command, \bold symbol, open brace, \kappa. But I use this notation a lot in my multivariable calculus class. It denotes curvature, so why don't I just invent my own command like that. The curvature is denoted by kappa, and if I want to start this on a new paragraph, I would obviously type new par like I've been doing along. And there's where I get that. Okay, so these are some basic commands. Now there are situations when you want to create a command that has an argument. So let's take a look at this example, \new command, \RE. What this will do is it's going to use the common font for denoting the real part of a complex number. That uses the mathfrak font, so mathfrak open brace, RE, close brace. So if we were to type things out completely in LaTeX, we would use this command right here. But I want to create something with an argument. So maybe I take the real part of the complex number 2 plus 3i. So I want to give it an argument, which I denote by open bracket 1, close bracket. This has one argument. And then over here, open brace, number sign 1, close brace. So what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to compute, write down the real part, and I could also do it for the complex part of a complex number, but it's going to do it much more quickly. So let's look at an example. I'll start a new paragraph. Suppose z equals 2 plus 3i. Then, number math mode, \RE, open brace, close brace, equals 2. Let's recompile. And we get, you notice how we have the common font for the real part of a complex number. So these are some examples just of how you can define your own commands in LaTeX. Generally speaking, I have my own macros file where I have a whole bunch of these sorts of shortcuts. So that's how you make shortcuts in LaTeX.